Counselor Accents Podcast. Two school counselors who love their jobs. Oh, and they happen to have Southern accents too. Bless their hearts.
I'm Laura Rankhorn.
I'm Kim Crumbly, and together we are Counselor Accents. Laura, I'm super excited for the idea that you had.
Thank you for giving me credit for this idea. We've got the, let's call it the Oscar Awards for school counselors coming up. The Golden Globes for school counselors.
Okay.
National School Counseling Week is coming up. It's a big week for school counselors. And so when you and I were talking about it and kind of our plans, I follow Olivia Carter on Instagram and Facebook. We're Facebook friends. We're a big deal.
She's over here right now, so don't try to. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
anyway, I saw that she had a couple of things up her sleeve, and I thought, I wonder if she would share some of those ideas with us. So
yeah,
I'm excited to get to talk to her and see if she'll share her knowledge with us.
she is so down to earth. I loved having her on last time. So I'm looking forward to getting to hear her ideas. And, I think this was our feeling when we were talking amongst ourselves, our ideas, because we love this week. We love to advocate for our program and for other school counselors during this week. And so we were talking about the theme, and we said, we're having a conversation with one another, but why don't we have a conversation on the podcast? And you thought of Olivia, and I thought that was a great idea because she is just down to earth and such a great advocate for school counselors and always has great ideas. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think too, when we were having our discussion, we wanted to bring in somebody who could speak to where all the school counselors are right now. And, some people are on cloud 9 as a school counselor, and some people are trying to decide if this is what they want to do forever and ever. And so for some people, this week is going to be a great week of celebration. And for others, it's just a reminder that they're not loving what they're doing right now. So hopefully she can give us some ideas on how to
get inspired. And I think we all could use a little inspiration right now. And I think that we have to realize that we're not, you're not bragging on yourself, you're bragging on your program. And it could be the shot in the arm that you need right now to carry on, because it has been very, very difficult. And so this could be, this will be a nice, make this what you would enjoy doing, what's going to be fun and doable for you, and of course, food's our love language. So we're all over this with food ideas, food's going to be up in this. Of course, we're Southern too. So,
True.
Food is going to be a part of this. And so I do want to say, Laura, that we have posters that we have the posters made for school counselors for School Counseling Week. They're the posters that we're going to be using that kind of showcase better together and with the different days that ASCA has set up. So
I'll add a link to those because they're free. So go get them and use them.
And maybe our email listeners will send that out to our email listeners. And go there and get these free posters and use ASCA. They have wonderful, great things that they've got going to be going on through Instagram. And I hope we'll talk to Olivia a little bit more about that. So just enjoy that week. But, it's around the corner. It's February 7th through 11th. So go ahead and get started on your plans and get what you need ordered or what you're going to say, get all that together now and have fun and get involved and get in this photo challenge that ASCA has going on. And, just advocate for yourself, because this is that opportunity to do that.
I was going to say, let's bring in the expert, not you.
Oh, I thought when I heard it, I said, what? Did she call me an expert? Because I didn't know she had ever called me an expert. So that sounded really good. Yes, let's bring on the expert. I'm Kim Crumbly.
I'm Laura Rankhorn.
And together we are Counselor Accents, and we have one of my best friends back on our podcast today to discuss something exciting.
Let's just say our third co-host, because I just feel like she's like a regular.
I don't know if we've ever had anybody on twice. So she is like the Steve Martin of SNL.
Well, we had Russ Sabella on twice, so this puts her right up there with Russ Sabella.
Okay, she'll take it. She'll take it. So anyway, Olivia, thank you for coming on. Laura and I were just having a discussion about National School Counselor Week and
School
counseling. I said school counseling.
No, you said school counselor.
No, I did not.
Okay, we're going to rewind this. Not right now, but.
Okay. So Olivia, since we last spoke with you, you were important counselor of the year. You're still doing awesome, great things. We follow some of the stuff that you've been doing, and you advocate for us, and we appreciate that so much. But kind of tell us for those who may not know you yet, I don't know how they've missed that, but tell us a little bit about you and where you're at and what you've been up to.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be back on the show. I love the comparison to Steve Martin, and I'm hoping to get some sort of jacket on like my 10th episode.
That's how old I am. I know there's other people that have been on there that many times. Who else? I don't know. I
don't know.
Well, Laura's going to say I don't watch that. So
anyway, I haven't watched it in a while, but I do love SNL, so it was a great reference for me. Anyway, I'm Olivia Carter. I was the 2021 School Counselor of the Year, and now I live my life as the School Counselor Support Specialist for Cape Girardeau Public Schools. I've had tons of opportunities through ASCA to do panels for the Office for Civil Rights, Department of Education. I feel like I've been all over the world, but I haven't really. I've still been at home. So it's been a weird year, but it's been fantastic and lots of good things on the horizon still. So yeah, thank you for having me.
We talked about that last time, how even your interview process for School Counselor of the Year was so unique. And so your experience will be more unique than probably anyone has ever had. School counselor support, tell me what you're doing. I don't know if I realized this or if I knew it. I'm very forgetful. Tell me about this job.
Yeah, so it's sort of part school counseling coordinator, where I help the counselors in our district. We're quite a small district when you think about coordinating. We only have 14 school counselors. And so what I do is help them with their programming, make sure, their goals feel appropriate for them, and their data shows that they need those goals. Really trying to get those elementaries ramped, which in this year has been, obviously hard because nobody feels like they have any time. We're all subbing in classrooms and doing the things that we shouldn't be doing. I just want to validate everybody else out there listening, like it's not perfect here. And so I get to do that part-time. The other side of my job sort of is around restorative practices within our district, and going in and helping teachers, co-teaching and doing community circles, helping them build respect agreements with their classes, doing PD with the teachers, and coaching with administrators and teachers. So it's kind of just this broad catch-all of like social emotional things. But it's been really exciting to move into that new position, because I think where my passion is of course with students, but I love the aspect of helping other counselors. Like I love counselors, and so to be able to provide professional development and things like that for them is just, it's the dream. So
that's what I was thinking. It sounds like a dream job for you. Like perfect.
Truly, truly perfect.
Yeah, I think.
And the fact that your school system sees the value in a position like that speaks volumes. That's why Missouri is the show me state.
Yeah, we are the show me state.
That's right.
The heart of school counseling, right? Like
It
Yes.
really,
Norm
it really
Geisper's
is.
and
Like
yeah.
you
It really
guys,
is.
you have it going on. And so I think the fact that you guys are valuing a position like this is just, that's why you guys are just so amazing.
Yeah,
really
our
is.
district is working hard to build community, and it it's a process, and I am so glad that I live in a state that values school counseling, and hopefully we'll continue to. We have a very strong school counseling organization, MSCA, who's advocating always at the state level, and we've made a lot of good progress there.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, we love all the things that Missouri's doing, and I mean, you've got like Matt, right? Matt Berry, and
Matt Berry.
he is. I mean, it's just like you just see these pockets, these states that really have it going on, and you guys are certainly one of those pockets that we emulate. That's a emanate?
Emulate?
I said emulate. Did I? We emulate.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
So we want to talk with you about National School Counseling Week. I mean, among
Yes.
other things, we want to talk about all kinds of things, but that is, that's kind of what our focus is today. So in your new role, how are you communicating the importance of National School Counseling Week?
Yeah, I have fought really hard to get some things in place for our school counselors, because I think, of course, no one's mental health in education is what we would like for it to be. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, we're really just, our nervous systems aren't built to be in a pandemic for 2 years and really almost 3 school years now. And so it's wearing on us. And so I've done a couple things, and I don't think anybody will, I'm not going to let any like secrets out, but, I only have 14 counselors to work with. So I have gotten to know them pretty well. I know their favorite drinks. I know their favorite snacks. And so I want to kind of celebrate them too. I know it's National School Counseling Week, but, handwritten letters go a long way. And this is when we think about what I did as a counselor, or what you might do as a counselor that's like low price. Obviously it's cheap. It doesn't cost a lot. It's meaningful. Writing letters to the stakeholders and just thanking them for being a part of the school counseling program, and their support was always important. So I feel like as a school counseling support specialist, I can write them letters thanking them for all of their hard work, kind of just, just that meaningful pat on the back. And do some goodie baskets for them. I've reached out to the governor of Missouri. Maybe he listens to this podcast, but I'm hoping that he'll sign a proclamation for us. I think that's just a really good, meaningful, again, a pat on the back for school counselors in Missouri, because they are doing an outstanding job. Like I said, our organization's doing an outstanding job. And for the district level, what I'm hoping to do is partner. We have a communications person in our district. We're lucky that way. Partner with her and see if we can't get some articles in the paper about what our counselors are doing, some cool projects that they're working on, and just highlighting them in that way, and seeing if we can get some local news.
Yeah.
Because, there is an attack on social emotional learning too. So I think we have to dispel some myths along with celebrating ourselves that week. And so that's sort of what I'm doing so far. And I'm excited about it.
My wheels started turning, and that's exciting. Laura and I talk all the time about how we feel like one of the things that educators miss and need is validation, because, we're working with students, and just that pat on the back, and especially, as you said, this almost 3 years of a pandemic, just to hear those, good job, we see what you're doing. And so just validating other school counselors and advocating for them, I think would go so far. And I love those practical ideas. You don't have to be the school support or the coordinator to reach out to your own governor or to write those letters to stakeholders. I love the way you take it a little further, Olivia.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just going to talk to your superintendent. I was thinking, let's talk to the superintendent. You've gone straight to the governor. So why not? Why not?
And I'd like to have some school board members come and see what they're doing. So I think that's a good plan, and sometimes I do take it too far. I'm like, let's just go straight to the governor. You know what? Why not I'll just call up Joe Biden. Which
You
I'm
never
sure
know. You never
Dr.
know.
Biden would definitely jump in and do something for us, I think. But so, and I want to just point this out too, because no district is perfect. One of the things that we're planning on doing is our secondary schools have guidance offices still. Like it says guidance office, they call it the guidance office. And so as a symbolic gesture of National School Counseling Week, everyone calls themselves school counselors. So we're going to hopefully have new name things put up where it's school counselor versus guidance, because that language is obviously outdated. So I do want to do some things locally too. And yeah, just to shine a light on our guidance problem. But yeah, I think, there's a certain level of respect that I bring to the title of school counselor versus guidance. So hopefully that will be received.
I think that I'm glad to know that Missouri doesn't have everything exactly right. If you've got the guidance up there.
We're always a work in progress.
Absolutely. And you're making those changes. So that is so exciting. Laura, before I railroad the next part of this, your thoughts.
Well, I'm like you, my wheels are turning, and I've already launched a phone call to our governor's office.
Right now, I'm on the phone with.
I'm on hold right now,
Kay
probably
Ivy.
because you're trying to get through. Yeah.
And I like to do her voice. This is Kay Ivy, Governor of Alabama.
That's
So we'll
spot
see.
on. I don't know how familiar you are, Olivia, with our governor, but that is spot on.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
acknowledging that.
Yeah.
So I love the theme this year, and Better Together. And so it was, we looking at how this has been laid out by ASCA, I liked the opportunity, and I just want to, talk with you guys about this. Of a lot of times in the schools, and I don't know, Olivia, if you have all the extra, if you guys have the mental health workers coming in, or if you have the school psychologist, or, if you have those things, but that first day, it goes right into school counselors and other school-based mental health professionals better together. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to really thank those people who are helping me, and to make our teachers aware that we do have these supports and that we work together. So what are your first thoughts on that first day of mental health workers?
I love that. Yeah, we do have some school-based therapists that come in, and it's usually like one day a week in each of the buildings or so. And so I think just to celebrate them too, because, and now that I'm in a district level position, I know what it feels like to be in and out of a building. And I think that's a really hard role to play. You see all of the different cultures of buildings, but you're not a part of any of those cultures. So for someone to come to you and say, thank you for coming in and helping our kids, would be huge for those mental health workers. And whether it be a psych examiner, we have psych examiners here more than school psychologists, but and they travel a bit too. And yeah, those school-based therapists or whatever mental health therapists you have coming in, I think that's a fabulous idea. And again, it doesn't have to be like this over the top thing. I know ASCA has all of the prompts for you that you can print out, and I participate in that every year. I love it. And I think the best thing about it is when you start to like scroll through the hashtag and you see what everybody else's perspectives are, it just informs you even better. You're like, oh, I see what they're doing. And, I want to do that next year. And yeah, I should have thanked that person. And it's never too late to say thank you to someone, I think, but just to say, you know what, we are better together. You do support me in so much, because if it were not for this person coming in and doing some of this therapy, I would be sitting with this kid in fight, flight, or freeze for 80% of my day. You just don't know the impact that they're having if you're not around. So yeah, I love that. I love the prompts.
Yeah. And don't take for granted that if you have social workers, as we do, and mental health workers, that your stakeholders know that this is available, or that even your board members actually know what they do. So this is a great time to educate. These people have just over the last few, this was not even on the radar, right? I mean, not at least in Alabama 8 years ago, that was, it just was not heard of. And so they've come in, but really, does everybody, they just were there one day, so really to back up and say, these are the people that are helping and to acknowledge that. So I really love that they are including them in this.
Yeah. I could totally see finding one of our school-based therapists and taking a picture with them with your sign, that would be so fun.
I love that. That's so practical.
I know. What would you say to those school counselors? And maybe we want to do this at the end, but the ones that they feel overlooked during this week. And, we try to communicate that it's not about the counselor, but it's about the program. Mm-hmm. But the ones that are listening and think, well, that's great for y'all, but we don't have school-based mental health where I am. So Monday's a wash because it's not even for me. What would you?
They're going to be mad. They're going to be mad. It's going to be hashtag, where's my mental health worker?
Right. What would you say to those counselors?
I don't know that they would like this, but I'm going to say it. I think if you don't like that you don't have them, it's time to talk to somebody about it. And I think, go to your assistant superintendent, go to your director of whatever, school counseling. We're all built kind of differently in different regions, but go to that person and say, I see a need for this. Here's the data that I have, and this is what I've been able to do by myself. What can we do if we add a second school counselor? Or what can we do if we add another mental health person, a social worker, or, like I said, the school-based therapy? What would it look like then? And sort of dream big and have those conversations. And I know that's not easy. That's a very courageous conversation to say, this is what we need, and I'm struggling. But if you don't ask, you're not ever gonna get an answer. Yeah. And you're the expert on mental health in your building sometimes. So lean on that knowledge and know that you feel empowered by that, is what I would say. But ask and dream big. Like I said, my mom used to tell me, ask for a horse and you'll get a dog. So maybe if you ask for 3 more school counselors, you'll get 1 more.
And that's why she went straight to the governor.
Yeah.
By ASCA though, making this a day, it brings light to the need. Mm-hmm. If you don't have this in your school system, it is important, and ASCA saying, hey, this is what's going on, and why. You have to ask yourself, why is it not going on here? So I think that's a good question, Laura.
And I love that you frame it in a way like, here is a springboard for a conversation. And so, let's don't just look at the glass half empty here. Let's use it as a vehicle to have a tough conversation. I love that. This is why you were school counselor of the year.
Well, I was just thinking about Dr. Russ Sabella and thinking solution focused all the way. You can't take it out.
Yeah.
So we have administrators and school counselors are better together. And, we talk about building those relationships all the time with that administrator. So this is that opportunity to spotlight how that person is supporting your program and helping advocate for you. And if they're not, this is another one of those opportunities maybe to educate, right?
Yeah. I feel like this one's even scarier than asking for another person. Because a bad relationship with an administrator or a principal is a tough gig. Because I've witnessed it. I mean, it's hard. And so I think going back to your annual administrative agreement that you should have done. And sometimes, I've told this story several times. I had 3 principals last year, like they just kept leaving on us. And so by the 3rd one, I was like, I don't need to do an administrative agreement. Like, I'm just going to do my job. It was January. I was tired. Like we had been in person a full semester. And it was obviously a nightmare if people kept quitting. But neither here nor there. And so I was just like, I'm just going to do my job. And our relationship was not as good because I didn't take that initiative. So a lot of times I think, and Brene Brown says it best whenever she talks about boundaries, a lot of times we think that people are being, I'm not going to say her word, but jerks to us, when really we haven't put these proper things in place. We haven't said, this is a hard no for me, or this is exactly what I'm doing. And when we don't explain ourselves in that way, it goes downhill. And you do think, wow, they're being so mean to me, but really it's like, did I ever tell them how to treat me?
This is another podcast, Olivia. You are going to get that jacket because I am like right now, because we do talk to counselors from all over, and we have had them talk to us on Zoom calls with tears down their eyes because their administrator is not allowing them. And this has been more than one person that we have talked to. And so I would love to delve into this more because it is that relationship building. And it's almost having the confidence to say, because we say all the time, you are a leader, you are a leader. Mm-hmm. And they'll come back with, but I'm not, because my administrator. And it's just that what you're saying, put that in place from the get-go. And we always say, add a little swag with it, with confidence, not overbearing, but this is what I do and this is who I am. And then respectful of their office, along with that. But I love that. Where did your mind go? I could see you were lighting up there, Laura.
I just felt like, like you were saying, this is such a hot button for other counselors that I'd say one of the top 3 most frustrating parts of being a counselor is when you're with an administrator that doesn't understand your job, or I can't even imagine that they don't value the job because it's such a big job. But just those.
But it does happen. I mean, you've seen it, Olivia. We've seen it. It does happen.
Mm-hmm. And just the insecurities on both sides that come from that strained relationship, it takes the joy out of being a counselor for a lot of people. And that's so sad because this is the best job in the world. And it just creates this huge misunderstanding. So
it does.
I like that, Olivia. I like what you're saying. We've got to advocate for ourselves and tell us the name of the book again. Boundaries. What did you say?
Oh, Brene Brown. She talks about boundaries all the time. They're like all sorts of, she's all over YouTube with TED Talks and stuff. I would say she talks about boundaries in every single one of her books.
Kim, so it's just first you're hearing about Brene Brown.
This is for our listeners, Laura. This is a rubber meets the rule.
I would say Braving the Wilderness would be one that she really hits on boundaries. Yeah. Because I think it takes serious reflection to be like, oh, that was me. Like I did this. And it's painful and it's real. And to think I took part in this piece of not getting along with my administrator. Like I added fuel to the fire there, or, you know what I mean? Like it does become really big when we let it as school counselors. And I think we're deeply passionate about what we do. And so it becomes very personal very quickly for us. So, but anyway, I would, like I said before, I would give them, so something that I've done over the years to build relationships is always like thanking the people around me whenever they help me with my programs. And if, and a lot of times that can look like, I do this every year, and this will be the first year I haven't. Thank you for your commitment to the school counseling program, like an admins to the lounge, New York peppermint patties or whatever. I've done Three Musketeers where everybody got a big Three Musketeers, and it's like administrators, teachers, and school counselors are the Three Musketeers. I did one year, it was, and this is based on Danielle Schultz. Are you all familiar? She's like, what's her Instagram handle? At school, like school SCH underscore counselor is her Instagram handle. Anyway, sorry. She has gone all out every single year for National School Counseling Week. And I would say 10 years ago, when I first started counseling, she had a blog, and she talked about Lego bricks, sorry. And it's so they make Lego candy you can get it on Amazon. And I went all out and did like activities with the kids and had teachers do a contest, and but it was something about school counselors and teachers help build better futures or something, and they got Lego candy one day for me, like the teachers did. So I think all of those little things that you can do, and even not during National School Counseling Week, all of those little things do build relationships with people like that. It sounds silly, but small things can go a long way.
They can. And Laura and I were talking about this theme, Better Together, and Laura came up with some really good treats. So share some of those, Laura. Do you remember what we talked about?
Well, we talked about chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah,
like
I wanted to do. Yeah, I wanted to do. What was I wanting to do? And you said no, peanut. I was wanting to do peanut butter and jelly, and like, and I said no. I mean, everybody loves peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it is a good idea. But our school our system actually gives a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to go home, and so we were like, that may not be a treat for anybody. But anything that's better together,
you went to the lunchroom.
anything that's better together, like chocolate and peanut butter or milk and cookies, and kind of go with that better together theme. And I think we wrote out, I don't even know where we wrote that out. So we would have ideas for ourselves this year. So we'll have to put those ideas out there. But can you think of any more we have besides the milk and cookies and the Reese
Chips
cups?
and salsa.
Ooh, chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just thought of one that I think I'm going to do with my counselors, and it's coffee and donuts.
Yes.
Maybe,
Yes. We talked about coffee and creamer. So having like a coffee bar. So really you could make that work for a lot of different things and still use that better together theme. But, Laura and I really do treat the teachers that week, and we always get this, but it's more about you this week. And we're like, no, we're just advocating for our program, and it is the perfect time to put those fact sheets out there. And Laura has a lot of neat data this year that she's been looking a lot better at doing than me. And she wants us to focus on getting that data out. It's a great time to do that. So with that treat, who doesn't love that? So
put your data out with your treat for sure.
Yeah. Morning announcements is another thing that a lot of school counselors, I think, can do and talk about whatever the theme is, and then use that to kind of, advocate for their program at the same time every week with the teachers. But any other ideas that y'all have? I love the ideas.
I think morning announcements never worked for me, just because of the way our system was set up. but I could see it working really well. I think a lot of schools now do like the video announcements that kids sort of run. I think it would
Yeah.
be really cool. Like what a cool project for your older students to be, or maybe your leader students to be doing those National School Counseling Week announcements. Like this week is National School Counseling Week. Get those kids involved, because then maybe they'll go home and talk about it too, because you're just spreading the message that way. So that's my only thought on those. However, I've never had the opportunity to make those work. So
I guess it's just according whatever works for you. I love that this year ASCA is focusing on community. Laura and I are big believers in getting out in your community, and we see that as part of the school counselor job is to get to know those community members and visit those businesses and to give them your business card. And if you've not done that, this is a great time to do that, is to get out in your community. And I am in a very rural area, and so there's not a lot, but those small stores and the very few things that are there, they're 100% behind me. So what are your thoughts about that? And I'm so glad ASCA did that. It lets school counselors to know community is part of your wheelhouse, part of your job. What are your thoughts about community?
Yeah, I love that they've added community. They've done so much this year, and they haven't even released, well, I guess they have to district directors, but they've got extra things happening where there's like a takeover for the finalists for this year. It's going to be amazing. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But as far as community goes, I think you need to have those community members on your advisory committees. And that's, again, going out and talking to the different businesses, and because they want ways to support you. And I think at this point, I've talked to people and they're like, it's time to brand your program, brand yourself as a school counselor, because the funds right now are being sort of allocated toward mental health. And so the better off you brand yourself and you use your data, the better off you are to justify more people. And then when the funds sort of start to go away, then you have that justification of, oh, we added a school counselor, and look at our behavior data, or, look at our academic achievement and the things that we've done to improve that. I just think you're setting yourself up. So that being said, like, as you do those things, get that word out to the community, talk to them about what you need. And it is usually, I would say, the local businesses have been so generous to us. And it's not that they have just tons to give, right? Like, they're a small business too, but they're the ones who are gung-ho about helping. If you have something going on in your building, they want to be there to be a part of it. They, I think of, like, I have a yoga instructor in our community who is just like all about my old school that I'm still helping with, but so she's all about that school. And if I ever called her up and I said, hey, we need this, this, and this, she would find other businesses in town for us and saying, for the school counseling program at Jefferson, we need this. So just, I think you have to have community, and you have to be able to brand yourself out to the community in order to be successful. So I love that we've committed to that as an organization.
I agree. And we don't turn any help down from the community, because they want to be a part of. And I think Laura even had somebody say they're going to do a fireworks show for her. And she's like, yeah, I'll take it, whatever you got.
Yes, I didn't even ask for that, but one of my advisory council members, after hearing my presentation and, being a part of the discussion, he just came up to me at the end and he said, I'd like to do a fireworks show for y'all. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even know that you did fireworks, but have at it. And so
I will.
Can you do fireworks anytime?
He said they could make them any color. They can do whatever. And he said, we can customize it to whatever you need. And I'm like, well, until 5 minutes ago, I didn't even know it was a need, but now I'm going to get you a customized
It's a
layout of what I want. So, yeah.
We say it is the best kept secret. Is that community component. And this is the time, if you are needing an excuse to get out in the community, this is the time to start building those relationships. And Laura knows, and I know our listeners know, that my school is it's high poverty area. And so a lot of the stuff that was coming in, I had nowhere to even house it. So through that, we have our own outreach where everything is housed in an offsite building, and we have somebody that runs that, and it's community members, and they help support the school. So it's amazing. We have been amazed at what all community will do. And once you get to know them, how they want to help. So this is get that, like you said, brand yourself. If you have a business card, if you don't, get one, and get that out to those community members and invite them to your advisory council. So this is the time to do that. Or I'm being quiet to let you go.
Well, I've had to mute myself because my little girl rang the doorbell and it sent my dog barking like crazy. So I was actually muted because of the chaos that was happening here at my house. So what's next on the, where does ASCA take us next, Kim?
So ASCA has set up, ASCA has set up a calendar, a daily calendar for things that are just going on. And so the first day, Miss Alma Lopez, who I am honestly obsessed with, I never stopped talking about her ever since I met her. She will take over on Monday, and she does the Instagram takeover. And then, so she'll kick off the week, and then she and I are doing something with ASCA and Reach Higher. We're going to go Instagram Live. There are several sort of, I want to say, they're not really webinar in that, like, there's not a PowerPoint, but we're just having sort of conversations. I got to moderate a couple of these. And so they're pre-recorded webinars that are going on Facebook, but it's sort of like a time, I think it'll be around 1 Central. And it's just a time where you can sort of eat your lunch and talk about its leadership, collaboration, advocacy, equity, all of those things that are hot button issues always in school counseling. And it's just exciting. And so each day there'll be a different takeover person, different webinar, all kinds of good stuff happening. So sort of the same thing they did last year for us. But I think just that much more meaningful that I know these people, and that we've been together a little bit, and we've had that opportunity. And now while we're still presenting virtually, we can enjoy each other's company that way. So I don't know. It's just exciting. Maybe it's more exciting for me because I'm a part of it, and I get to have those conversations, but hopefully other people will enjoy them too.
That sounds so exciting, and it sounds so valuable and so well thought out. Like, hey, let's do this at 1 o'clock when people are eating their lunch, or maybe you can have some downtime. And I mean, gosh, ASCA is just all over taking care of us, aren't they?
Yes, they
And
really are.
I have
They
seen
really
that
are.
improve. I've seen that, and maybe it is because you're more invested, but I do think there has been this, maybe it has been this connecting more with Zoom and the things that they're, but I don't know. I think I agree with Laura. I have seen great, and you've been a part of that, Olivia. I've seen it increase in value to me anyway. And I think that I think the leadership they're doing a great job. So,
Yeah. Oh man, shout out to the board of directors for ASCA and all of the ASCA leadership, because they have, and I think of Missouri too, the board of directors there, how we've all sort of decided that, these virtual offerings that we created in like peak pandemic, which arguably is where we are now, but that we created back when, are so good now because I feel that much more connected to the greater counseling community. And so we talk about that in the leadership portion, and I'll record the advocacy portion later, but or the collaboration portion later. But I think collaboration has been key. And I think that's another reason Better Together is so fitting, because we've found a way to be together even when we're not together.
That is really here. Well, I didn't even think about that, because really we've not been together, but we have been together. So Olivia, let me ask you, if a school counselor really would like to get started doing something during this week, other than it just a week that goes by and, what would be 3 doable things that you would tell a school counselor? At least do these maybe 3 things this week if you've never done anything.
3 things. I would say write a thank you note to your biggest cheerleaders, whoever they are. Let your administrator know, hey, it's National School Counseling Week. This is what school counselors do. If you're not comfortable sharing it with the staff, share it with your administrator. This is what school counselors do. Any data you have, put it on that sheet, just like a 1 page, right? And then otherwise, I think maybe those are the 2 most actionable things.
Yeah.
And then I would say, better together, at least print out the first sign, like the National School Counseling Week first sign, take a picture of yourself with it and put it out there on social media so you can start to connect and find more people who are doing what you're doing.
That's
Great
so good.
ideas. Yeah, great ideas.
And very doable. Very easy.
Yeah, because people have said, man, I feel so overwhelmed. I don't know, this year has been extra hard. I don't want to create more work for myself. And I want to validate that because it has been hard. So if you can do those 3 things, you're still doing more than nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're not feeling creative, because the pandemic has hurt creativity greatly. So I get it. Or otherwise, reach out to another counselor in your district or someone close to you and have a conversation about that with them. Hey, I love National School Counseling Week, but I feel overwhelmed by this. Do you have any ideas? Or just someone else to validate how you're feeling, because we're all feeling it.
And that's so good that you're saying that, Olivia. I mean, because you coming from your viewpoint of leadership, and we really, really, we want to bring joy to our listeners, and we want to inspire, and but at the same time, we are in the trenches with you. We are going to work every day. We see you sometimes feel, because I can leave at the end of the day and feel like I was the only one in this pocket that I was in. And I don't think, unless you're in it, you even can understand what we're dealing with. And I know my mental health worker and I, we had a conversation about some of the things that we know, and we walk down those hallways, and a teacher may know just the part that I've dealt with in my own, but it's those stories all over the school with the trauma and the mental health needs. And it can be absolutely like a physical weight on your shoulders. And you're in the trenches every day with us. We're in the trenches with you guys. And we say this all the time. We know this is hard, and that you are not alone. Even though you feel like you are alone, you're not alone. We cry to one another, and you do need that support. And we do hope that you're listening to podcasts, or you're getting extra training, or reading books, or getting inspired, because people are leaving education by the droves. And it's because you feel like, how much more can we handle? Like you said, I don't think the human brain was meant to take this for this long. Even before this trauma, Laura and I would say that more information comes in to our brains now in one day than was coming in a lifetime 100 years ago. So how much more information can we handle, and trauma can we handle? So we're here, and we're advocating for school counseling, and we love this job, and that's why we're doing it. That's why we get up every day and do it. And thank God for school counselors and other professionals who have got it tough right now.
Well, it's true. And I'm so glad that Missouri Cape Girardeau school system has you in that role. I just like to write your governor right now and tell him or her that you're doing a great job. And you were such a great choice for that role, because you get it, you've been there, and you know what counselors need. And so, what you're speaking about today I know it's hit every pressure point for counselors. We've talked about the ones that maybe feel overlooked, the ones that feel overworked, and the ones that want to advocate more. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom. And thank you for doing the job that you do.
Well,
So
thank
what's
you for
next,
having
Olivia? Before you go, what's next for you? What's in the works for you? What is your new passion and where are you going? Do we have a book in the horizon? What do we have coming from you?
You know what? Probably not a book right now. Like I said, the pandemic has really brought my creativity down. Sometimes writing a keynote feels like too much. That being said, I have a few things coming up. I'm doing webinars through MSTA, which I feel like that's a whole nother podcast, is partnering with your teachers associations. But I have a webinar through them. I've got some speaking things happening. And I'm on a selection committee for an organization for their conference. So that's really, I'm excited about that. And yeah, I've just, now that I'm like going back to my regular life of non-queendom, right? Like, I'm not a Disney princess anymore. So, but yeah, that's been interesting in and of itself. But I think what's cool is now I'm getting the opportunity to give back to the organizations that sort of built me up, MSTA and MSCA, and others out there. So yeah, I've got some keynotes happening here and there, and you'll see me all over National School Counseling Week if you're on ASCA, because they've asked me to do a lot, which I'm grateful for because I love to have those conversations with people. But no podcast or book or anything like that coming out soon. So
it sounds like you're very busy advocating for your state and for all of us. And we're going to be watching what's going on, what you got going on School Counseling Week and School Counseling Week. And we're looking forward to that. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I will, you know what, if you want me to co-host sometime, I'll be here.
We would love it.
If you have just thrown that out there, Olivia, you know, we love you so much. So because that was literally, we love talking with her, and sometimes just a conversation, let's just have a conversation about some ideas for School Counseling Week. And that's what we did today. So we hope that you had some ideas, and we didn't digress too much, but I think it was important what we did say. So yes, we're going to take you up on that. And if I can get rid of, please hear me, I'll be texting you. I make her laugh every time.
I know.
What does it say about me? I feel like maybe my accent's not good enough for the podcast.
We didn't want to say anything, but when we stopped recording, I was going to talk to you secretly and see if you could do some practice, just some practice drills. What could she watch? What's some good Southern show?
Anything with Dolly Parton you could watch, probably. Hee Haw, old reruns of Hee Haw, maybe.
Reba.
Oh, I do love some Reba.
Okay. I love some Reba.
I heard it then.
We heard you. We hear that. That, Olivia. Keep practicing.
Maybe I'll just continue to converse with you all. Mm-hmm. I might call Laura Ross. She's got a great accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just keep working on it.
Keep working on it. Hey, listen, you get that down, and we will get together in Texas, because you won't have that crown on, honey. I'm not promising I won't be wearing a crown, but so we're going to get together in Texas. So all we can say is poof up your hair.
Oh, well,
look to Laura.
Not today. I told y'all it's been a long time since I had a haircut. So
your hair is so Texas right now. It's not even funny. So I don't know
this flat thing. Oh my goodness.
Y'all, the problem is, I don't know if you know this, I have no volume in my hair. It is, when it's
we
straight,
can fix that.
Oh,
we can fix that.
You come on over.
Straight, it's that straight. Like it's we have fully digressed. It is just that straight.
No, you don't have the tools. They don't sell them north that we have here. So we will bring our Texas tools, and I've already got some ideas, some spray.
I am excited. Oh my goodness. Hair day.
Earrings. Bring your earrings, Laura. We're going to bring her some earrings that are down to here.
Oh no. It'll be like a makeover. We can do a makeover edition of the podcast.
Yes. I'm feeling it.
Envisioning rhinestones. Listen, we're going to get that crown back on your head. We're going to get it back on your head before that week's up.
We'll just all bring our own crowns.
There we go.
Yes. We're not above it.
Yeah,
No,
let's do
no,
that.
we're not.
We
Okay.
can get Alma one too.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, but okay, you all were #1 podcast for school counseling this past year, right?
Yes.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's because we have wonderful guests like yourself. So
Yeah.
thank you for making it possible.
It's a good
So,
time.
Yeah. So we're going to have you co-host. So we'll reach out and see if we can get her on. I don't know when she'll be not as busy. I know she's busy, but as
Yeah,
you are.
things-
But
Things are crazy right now for her, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Well,
she's
you know.
so organized. She's like got a spreadsheet with like all of the people who have reached out to her and like all of the things she's done. I'm like,
oh
what
no,
that's
we
like.
have spreadsheets. That's not an issue. We are spreadsheet queens. It's just that every day, let's make a spreadsheet.
And then we say, now, what did we title that one? And where is it? Which
Spreadsheet
was that in your personal inbox or was that?
in
Where
my,
is
we
that?
are like, it's pitiful. We're pitiful.
We need to get our life together before we talk to her.
Yeah. I'm going to up my game. I'm going to up my game.
more
her.
spreadsheets.
More
Yes.
spreadsheets.
Let's make a spreadsheet about all the things we need to do to get our life together before we talk to her.
All right.
Well, you take care, friend.
Okay, you too. Stay safe out there.
We will. You too. Keep advocating for us.
Oh, I will. You too.
I know that. I know you will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Lord. Well, you have been on a whirlwind tour.
Yes.
So it's one of those. We are in the field, if you will, every day doing our job. And a lot of times these podcasts are at the very end of our day. And a lot of times at the very end of our day, we will have a podcast scheduled. And as all of you counselors who are listening know, what happens at the end of the day when you're trying to get gone, especially when you're trying to get gone, you will get stopped. So how many times does that happen to us? So
Oh gosh. And
Yeah.
I knew y'all were waiting and
but you know, the great thing is she totally gets that because she's doing she's doing what we do every day.
yeah,
So she really gets it. So what a great guest.
she's so wonderful.
She really is.
I can't wait to room with her in Austin.
Were y'all texting about that? Is that what y'all were texting about? I felt like you were on the
Yeah.
phone. Were you texting about y'all rooming together? Am I rooming with y'all?
I'll have
Because
to ask
Laura
her.
Ross just texted me and she and I. Oh, nope, that's me and Russ.
I'll have to ask her if you can stay with us. I'll let you know.
Paula has just texted me and we will be rooming together.
Who?
I love that in our little school counseling world, we have celebrities.
Yes.
You know, we have these celebrities. So we can dream on that, that we actually are going to get to room with these people. But guess who you're stuck with? You're stuck
There's
with
no
me.
one I'd rather be stuck with.
And what is
more.
so funny when we have worked at conferences or whatever we've been doing, and they will give us they will say, give us the stuff for the accommodations. And we never think about getting 2 separate rooms.
It's so funny that
Now,
one of
this
the-
last time I was so mad at you. I wanted a separate room.
it was my
but-
thyroid, and you know that now.
You know it was my thyroid.
No, it's funny because one of the conferences we did this summer when they asked for our expenses. Anyway,
And we spend so little. It's like we're the most, it's because no, we'll just really get a pizza, eat in the room together.
which is
So
what
we're
we did,
cheap.
because he looked at the receipt for the room and he was like, now where's Kim's receipt for the room? And I was like, oh, this is it. And he
Oh,
was like,
Mm-mm.
it's one receipt. And I'm like,
we together.
he was like, y'all shared a room. And I was like, it never even crossed my mind that we would stay separately.
We're not 16, but
Gosh, that was so funny.
but we do have some good times.
I love
And
it.
or you have crazy things happen, like the man that was up on the roof and
Oh
that
my
was running from the
gosh.
police and was going to jump off the roof. And I'm like, get up, get up.
Or the time that the fire alarm went off, the whole hotel evacuated and I wasn't moving because my
No,
hair
because
was
of the
not
hair
high enough.
situation, the hair situation.
Like,
Or think about the time that on the way to our room, someone had disgusting confetti. Let me just say, confetti is made in every shape, form, and fashion.
oh my
And
goodness.
you're down on the ground picking up said confetti.
That's
Going, what's this?
untrue. That
What's
is untrue.
this? Put that down. So you miss those, if you're not rooming together. I don't know who I'm talking to, but people that have an opportunity to room with your friends, room. It's so
Hey,
much fun.
let me bring this back full circle. We are better together.
Oh, thank you. We are better together.
And we're better together
Yeah.
when we room together.
We are better together when we room together. One thing that Laura has to have is a nap on said trips where I do not nap, and she knows why now, because if I nap, I'm done.
You are not yourself.
Like a groggy cat. Do not let me nap. But you don't know these things. But
no, and if I don't get a nap, then I'm a groggy cat. So we haven't found a balance.
We've
really
not found a balance. We have not found a balance. I mean, I don't know how we are friends. There is the age difference, and I'll just let that alone. And people can decide who's younger or not. Is that her mother? I hate that person. So yes, I mean, we're different. Yes, I'm an outdoor person. You are a high maintenance, but yet we make it work. So if you don't have a good school counselor friend, find one, because nobody understands the world we're living in except for another school counselor, especially right now.
And this makes me want to go take a trip. So let's go on a trip.
Let's do it. I'm all in.
Do we want to talk about our clipboards?
I would love to talk about our clipboards because I am so stinking excited about this. Anything that can make a school counselor's life easier right now. In fact, any educator's life easier. I just, I feel for I feel for all educators right now. But I love the clipboard product because we had folks reaching out when they saw images. I think you had posted something about it a while back, and we just have never done anything with it. But hanging on a bulletin board in both of our offices are clipboards, and there are some grab and goes for different things that the most common things that kids come in and see us for, which are anxiety or grief or, anger.
Mm-hmm.
And
friendship.
So friendship issues. So what we did was that we created some clip. Well, you put them on. We didn't create the clipboard. You put them on the clipboard. It's a grab and go, so that if you are didn't expect this child to come in, and you have something you go to, and sometimes there is been a teacher who needs something from you, and it's a go-to that you can grab. So these are just really handy in there, and they work. It's just stuff that gives you a talking point. Even if you have all the time in the world, you can turn right around and get one of these, the appropriate, whatever the situation is, and sit down, and you have something to do and something to talk through. So I'm excited about that. So anything else you want to say about that, Laura? Because this was really your baby.
Just the quote that I always get wrong, but you always get it right. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And that's where this came from, because we realized that this is something that could make our life easier. And it does on a daily basis. Whenever we've got those kids that come in, it's almost like we can free up that part of our brain to think about other things, because we can reach for something on the wall and say, here, let's do this together, and just help them sort their thoughts out. If nothing else, it gives me a minute to catch my breath and think, which direction do I want to go with this student while they're working on this activity? I can be thinking, how am I going to handle this whenever they're finished? And
let me just say, aesthetically, these come with different, different themes. So the first page is just this really, so it makes a really pretty bulletin board. But not only that, when you walk in the room, I've had so many people comment, and I know they've commented on yours because
Yeah.
I've heard them, I've seen it, but they come in and they see this on the wall, and automatically, wow, that looks really nice. That's pretty, and it's serving a purpose. So that's twofold there. So it helps you with a bulletin board, but also it's a use. We don't have a lot of space, or you don't have a lot of bulletin boards. It's user friendly. So, and you're using that space for something more than just, we're trying to be we're listening to school counselors, and we're trying to be very purposeful in making your lives and our lives easier right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's be honest. This
Oh, wow.
is what we need right now.
Yeah, I know.
because
Yeah, I agree. And so it's meeting the need
we're
of,
using- yeah,
but
we're using these. Like, we know that they work because
Yeah.
we are actually using them.
yeah, and we feel like this is what the kids need right now. So that we're going to talk more about that product, because we really believe in it. We're excited about that. So that'll be coming up later. So now you can do your whole little spiel that you do.
Okay, you can join our Facebook group. You can follow us on Instagram. You can sign up to get our email updates. If you will go to counseloraccents.com, then there will be a little window pop up. You put in your email, and then you get updates from us, but not too frequently, because we don't want to be those people. You can also rate and review and subscribe to our podcast, so then you'll know whenever we put a new one out. I think that's it.